What is up, everyone? Today, patch 6.3 released, which means it's time for a patch rundown. There are a lot of very exciting changes that I'm going to go over in this video. And once I'm done, talking about all the changes, I will add footage from my last game of patch 6.2, which was me trying to play CRITCAST Mantine. So if you're interested by that, make sure to stick until the end. And if you like these kind of videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So, new Pokemons. We got Hisuian Lilligant, so let's check it out. Alright, so it's probably going to be, a regional variant of Lilligant, which is already an additional. So additional regionals, there's already quite a few in the game. For example, Alolan Ninetales, right? They're usually interesting, but it's pretty hard to guarantee getting them, probably appears on human regions. It's pretty annoying that, for regional units in the thing, it doesn't actually tell you what regions they spawn in, because it's not as easy as, like, all of their types, But anyways, so pretty decent base stats for an uncommon, right? Pretty high HP, decent defenses, good speed, good base attack, and its spell Victory Dance is basically like Quiver Dance, from Mothim and everything, but raises attack and defense instead of special attack and special defense, and speed. So seems like an interesting, maybe early game carry, right? Could be cool to try out. So next we have Screamtail, which is probably going to be a unique. Right, a sound unique, new sound unique. All right, very interesting sound. It's a very interesting synergy, and yeah, a new unique should mix things up. All right, so a psychic fairy sound, very good. Typing. Fairy sound units. There's already quite a few. There's Altaria, Primarina, Jigglypuff. There's a lot of them. So the overlap continues to grow. Pretty decent stats for a melee, unique. Very high speed, 71, very high base speed. Pretty high defense and special defense. Good HP, decent HP. And the spell is Boom Burst, dealing 60 special damage to all adjacent units, including allies. Okay, that's very interesting. That seems kind of troublesome, honestly, because sound units are not exactly known to be very tanky. So, maybe not the greatest in sound. Maybe in Psychic or like Fairy, you can put it in the middle of the board and make sure all your other units are not near it. Very interesting design, though. Very, very interesting. All right, let's keep going. We got Weirdeer. So finally, we'll be able to evolve or Stantler. Stantler, is a wild unique. Oh, it doesn't tell me. Okay, evolves into Weirdeer when changing region. All right, so just like at the T20 portal then? Okay. I guess it doesn't matter which region you go to. Also, it would tell you. Okay, so what's the thing? Okay, so basically it just has improved stats and, oh, but lower speed, actually. That's interesting. Okay. Improved stats and more damage. So I guess if for whatever reason you wanted to keep Stantler, maybe for the speed, I don't know. It's probably not worth it, though, because, like, the HP goes up by a lot and the defenses go up by a lot as well, given its stats that are kind of, like, almost in line with legendaries, So yeah, but if you wanted to, you can simply not go into a portal and then you wouldn't change region and then he probably wouldn't evolve, right? Not sure though, we'd have to try that out. So alright, let's keep going. We got Indeedee, both male and female, so let's see that. I think they might be a new duo unit. I'm not really sure. I think they might be. So what do they do? After you and follow me. Yeah, I think it's a new duo. A new psychic duo. That's interesting. We already have a psychic duo in Latias and Latios, right? Yeah, okay. Interesting. So what do? This one gives PP and speed to the strongest closest ally, so it's pretty, like, supportive unit with 2 range, okay. And this one jumps to a cell far away and gains shield, and then infatuates all the enemies targeting it. So some sort of tank spell, but it's a 2 range unit as well, and it's like, its defensive stats are not all that great either. So this one's interesting. Mostly this one seems really good, support uniques, like stuff like Alcremie, they're really interesting. There's not a lot of them currently. And yeah, it's pretty cool to see like how it's gonna, how it's gonna be. Yeah, stuff like Comfey. Comfey's the most like successful one, Comfey's usually really great. Yeah, okay. So then we got Girafarig and Farigiraf added to the game. Let's check them out. Alright, so Girafarig, a normal psychic field unit, an epic additional. So what does it do? It fires out 2 beams that hit the furthest enemy, dealing 30 to all enemies in a line. That seems really strong. Hold up. That seems really strong. Pretty good AoE, line abilities, stuff like Starmie has one, right? They tend to be pretty good, especially in Psychic. And the evolution is pretty good stats. I mean, if you compare it to like other epic additionals, so something like, I don't know, Rapidash, you can see it's about the same. A little less tanky, actually. A lot less defenses for like similar HP. But Rapidash is kind of busted, honestly. So, but you know, this is a Psy unit, and it has normal, so it's bound to maybe get a lot of shield. So you know, fair game. And yeah, the spell looks really dangerous. So I'm glad that the stats aren't that good. That being said, Rapidash is one of the strongest units in terms of spell as well. So yeah, maybe a bad comparison here. All right, so what do we got? Skitty and Delcatty. All right, let's check him out. So, what does he do? Alright, normal fairy field. Okay, uncommon. A lot of new normal units, it seems like. You know, Indeedee new normal, Skitty's a new normal, Girafarig's a new normal. I thought normal was already getting overcrowded. Also, Minchino was also added. I'm gonna like check it out right after this one. And that's also a normal type. So yeah, lots of new normal types. Alright, so inflict infatuation for 1 second to all enemies in a 1-tile radius or 2 tiles when it evolves. That seems really strong. In fact, Charm is a really strong CC. I guess it is like nerfed by the fact that it's a frontline unit with like pretty low like stats, defensive stats. If you compare it to something like Sandslash, it has less HP, less defenses, you know, for an additional uncommon, which this is also, right? But the spell is really strong, and it has the normal shield, right? So gonna be really interesting. I think this is gonna be a very good additional for like the early game of normal, right? If you get this and evolve it into Delcatty, it can carry you like kind of defensively for most of the early game, I think. Infatuation is very strong, especially in AoE. Alright, let's check out Minchino now. Sound normal, new sound normal unit. Casts the last ability used by an ally with a pretty low mana cost. Now that's really interesting. Due to the nature of how sound works and like you'll have all your units casting all the time, it is going to be tough to, I think, set up this to like double cast the ability that you want. But this is very interesting, right? What I'm noticing mostly is a unit with a pretty low mana cost, a spell that has the potential to do something pretty crazy, and a very high speed. So this is going to be really interesting. There are definitely going to be some really crazy setups, maybe with like mana synchronization or whatever, like that you can do with this and maybe a legendary or something. Could be really interesting. Could be really interesting. All right. Next we got Esper and both like Meowstic forms. So, alright, so it's an uncommon. Again, it will evolve into male or female depending on your dominant synergy. So continuing the trend with Gallade, right? This seems to be the new method of evolution for split evolutions, right? And I like it, you know. It's a little less clunky that like position-based evolutions, right? You're always going to be sure that you get the evolution that you want. You can't accidentally mess it up. Anyways, what does it do? Gain Reflect, which means it receives reduced physical damage and reflects 50% of it, alright. Which Meowstic Male keeps, right? With like pretty, not very good stats for a defensive unit, honestly. It doesn't also fit all these traits, like neither Wild Psychic or Field really want to be putting in defensive carries like this, so I don't know. But the female one, more offensive. Stored power, deal 20 special damage. The more the user stats are raised, the greater the damage. So that's kind of cool actually, because all three of its synergies raise special attack, raise stats. Wild raises attack and speed. Field raises speed, and Psychic raises ability power. So really good innate synergy, you know. And I guess this also works with just having items, right? So okay. Interesting. The greater the damage is a little bit vague. We don't know how good this is, but this could be a really interesting carry for the early game as well, and maybe even for the late game, depending. Well, it's mono target, so probably not, but an interesting design. All right, let me go back to the list. All right, we got Glameow and Perugly. All right, let me check these out. Another normal type again. Lots of normal types this update. So we got normal dark. Alright, very interesting type combination. There is no other overlap, so it's not like you're going to be able to play normal dark as a comp, but still pretty interesting. And the spell is why the stats pretty unremarkable, although once again, very high base speed. Lots of very high base speed units are being introduced in this patch. Maybe a form of power creep, I don't know. Just by virtue of having this, though, it's going to be really great in the early game. Like 14 AD with 70 speed, that's a lot. And Swagger inflicts the target with enrage and confusion for 3 seconds. Okay, this is awful. This is the worst spell I've ever seen. You never want this guy to cast. Enraged is so broken. Like, it's basically, like, you know how broken Scovillain is? This is like, okay, I'm gonna give my opponent Scovillain. Like, what? Okay, we'll hit, like, a random unit. By the way, no, you know what? I won't spoil it. I'll talk about it later, but very exciting changes regarding Scovillain. Okay. Alright. So this is gonna be garbage. I'm sorry, but, like, this is too risky. Minchino Chinchino, we talked about it. Surfing Pikachu. Now, this is the one thing I was the most excited about for this patch, and I haven't tried it yet. I haven't played the patch yet, so I'm still really excited for it. So, it's in special. Basically, Aquatic received a new update, and the new update says on Aquatic 8, when the wave comes crashing down, you will get Surfing Pikachu. And apparently, every time a new wave comes up, it fills up his PP bar, and it pushes, so his spell pushes the user and enemies in the path into the enemy backline. All enemies take 80 special damage, with pretty damn good stats. You can see these stats are on par with, like, very good uniques, you know, about the same stats as Gyarados, like 40 less HP, but it has much better special defense, so actually, it's actually probably tankier than Gyarados on average, because 2 special defense is really not a lot. And an interesting spell, so I don't know. Usually, it's kind of hard to get units like these to carry you, because it's not like you can give them items, and, you know, it's very, very hard for, like, an itemless unit to carry, but this also means that you basically get a free unit on your board with pretty damn good stats. So just for that, I think that's going to be really interesting. I am very excited to try this new Aquatic 8. Alright. Any more units? Yes, we got some more uniques. We got the Loyal Trio, Monkey Dory, Fazendipity, and all of that. Alright, where is it? Monkey Dory. Let's start with a monkey. Oh, never mind, they're legendaries. Okay. Alright, so target is possessed for 2 seconds. Possessed is a new status effect. It's probably in there, maybe? Possessed. Fight for the other team temporarily. Becomes charm if the target is the only enemy remaining. Alright, makes sense. This is a very fucking strong status effect, right? Honestly seems really broken. I mean, you know, it depends on the spell that apply it, but it seems really strong potentially, right? Target is possessed for 2 seconds. If Rune Protect or already possessed, deals 100 special damage instead. This is a very interesting design. This means that this is kind of like a way to circumvent Rune Protect in a way. Not really. It still prevents the CC, but at least it'll do damage, so that's really interesting. With a pretty hefty mana cost, which makes sense, because that's like a really strong spell, right? And an interesting typing, Poison Psychic Human. Interesting overlap. There's no Poison Psychic or Poison Human, but might be cool. Lots of Human and Psychic, though. Again, pretty good stats. You can see the stats are actually on par with a Surfing Pikachu. So getting Surfing Pikachu for free when you play Aquatic 8, that's like a huge deal. Again, pretty high speed. So yeah, if I'm playing Poison, I probably don't want to see this guy too much. You know, I'd rather have, let's see, Eternatus, the other melee option for Poison. Where is it? There he is. He's noticeably way tankier, like 300 HP, 16 defense, and 16 speed F, which means this is great at stalling for time. For Poison, right? So I want to see this guy because, you know, he's going to allow my team to apply more stacks just by being a big tanky bitch. But the spell is still very interesting. Maybe with specific items, something like Wide Lens and then Mana Scarf could be really interesting. Alright, now Fazendipity now is Poison Fairy Sound. Sound is very interesting because again, there's only 2 sound legendaries, Meloetta, which is broken, Jirachi, which is garbage. So maybe this is going to break up the tendency and give you more chances to hit not Jirachi, basically. Basically, this making Jirachi 1 chance out of 3 instead of 1 chance out of 2 in a single sound portal is already a huge buff to sound, kinda, for the late game. The spell seems really good. Disarming Voice, inflict infatuation for 1 second to all enemies in a 3-tile radius. So basically an updated version, like an upgraded version of whatever Delcatty has. And as I said, it's a really strong spell, especially since this is on a true ranged unit instead of 1 ranged unit like Delcatty. So this will be really interesting, especially in a spammy comp like Sound. You know, really, really strong. And you know, even outside of Sound, this doesn't seem bad. This has the benefit of being ranged, right? So in a Poison team, it won't be too bad if I give it like Choice Scarf and maybe some AD items, right? It has pretty decent like base speed and base AD, so yeah, could be interesting. Because its spell doesn't require any AP scaling at all, although it would be stronger with some AP because it increases the infatuation duration. So yeah, maybe this looks really strong. You know, 3 tile radius, that's kind of huge. Would be good probably with like some mana and maybe some AP just to make like the infatuation longer. I don't know. Okay, and okie dokie. So this one is Poison Fighting Wild. So Fighting Wild, we already got a little bit of overlap. We have Kangaskhan, we have Mankey, right? So you'll be able to trigger, and the Ambor, yeah. So maybe it was the perfect game was a hatch you could play like Wild Fighting 4. Could be interesting. Anyways, again, the base stats are pretty good. They're on par with the other two actually, even though this guy has like two synergies that boost base stats kind of. I mean, fighting doesn't really boost base stats, but it makes you a whole lot tankier. And Wild gives like a bunch of attack and speed. So, and it has more attack than the other two. So this could be really strong in Wild maybe. So, alright, what does it do? Self-inflict poison for 3 seconds and gain a bunch of attack, defense, and speed. So this seems really good, but this kind of scaling spell isn't really like really good in Wild. Or poison, you know. In fighting, though, this looks like this will be really interesting. Maybe with a Fluffy Tail, Muscle Band, and Shell Bell, something like that. Sounds really good for him. All right, okay. So I think that's almost the end of it. All right, 2 other lines have been added. Surskit and Masquerain seems really cool. This guy is one of my favorites from the real game. You can notice, by the way, all the units I've checked out so far, not a single one of them had a base speed under 50. So I'm saying, like, all these new units are really fast. Alright, so Surskit. So yeah, base spell is Aqua Jet, you know, the same thing that like floats a line, but like on a really low level, you know, not really interesting. Alright, it's a bug aquatic though. It's a rare additional. And Masquerain gets Silver Wind. Yo, wait. What? Silver Wind has Beautifly spell. And Beautifly is like really fucking strong. So giving it to a lower unit like this, I don't know where they're going with this. Notably, this has like a way bigger PP bar than Beautifly and a lot less like big base stats, right? You can compare right here. But still, seems interesting. Yeah, see, Beautifly gets the same spell, 1 level higher, so more damage, 4 less mana, and it has like a lot more base stats because, you know, of course it's like a 3-star epic, so it's going to be like incredible. But okay, keep an eye out on Masquerain. Masquerain could be interesting in the mid game. And the last one is Eldegoss. Eldegoss line, what's his, yeah, Gossifleur and Eldegoss. So Flora Sound, alright, more sound units. What does it do? Cotton Guard. Create a protective barrier around the user, gaining shield and defense, and then throwing cotton balls in front. Cotton remains on the battlefield, causing sleep for enemies that walk on it. This seems really powerful, so AoE sleep on a frontline unit for sound could be interesting, although the stats are a little bit low for a frontline unit. I mean, it's just because it's an uncommon, right? It's on par with like other uncommons like Sandy Scorch, Araquanid. Let's see, other frontline Primplub. You know, it's on par with these. It's not really low. But you know, sound has not a lot of like frontline options, so this guy might have to like tank a little bit more than he can. Although his base defenses are really great, especially his special defense. Like if you compare it to something like Araquanid, you know, you can see how good it is, right? Look at this. Sandy scores at 2 and 8. This has 10 and 14. This seems really strong. Maybe some signs of power creep in this patch, because all the units I've reviewed so far, which is all of them actually, had really good base stats, especially base speed, right? Really good base defenses, everything. So they're all, I don't think any of them is going to be really bad except this guy, because giving enrage, yeah, and the base stats aren't really that great, like the base defenses. Giving enrage is like, yeesh, you really don't want to do that. Alright, now, changes to already existing stuff. Conkeldurr now spans 2 pillar instead of 1. Seems cool. You know, it's not really going to matter in most games, because Conkeldurr is really hard to get, 3-star Ultra, but that's cool. I'm going to only stop on stuff that I think is important. Charm Sunlight stat buff, not really important. You would never want to put Charm in the spotlight usually. A little bit of a buff to Mach Punch, maybe making Kupfu's evolution into Dark Urshifu easier. Nerf of Wicked Blow and Surging Strikes, so like both of the spells of the evolved Urshifu. I don't know whether or not this is warranted. From my experience, Urshifu wasn't all that great, even when you do hit it. A buff of Blizzard. Now this seems really important, right? Let's go to Articuno right away. Come on. Articuno. Can I get him? Where is he? Dude. What? Ah, there he is. Okay. Yeah, they doubled the damage, and that seems really great, because Articuno was really, like, the unit you do not want to see for your legendary in ice. So maybe now it's going to be good. It deals the same damage as Moltres now, a little bit less, but it also freezes everybody. So, you know, gonna be interesting. Gonna be really interesting. Let's see. So, some changes to Alcremie, but I don't really care about Alcremie because I don't know. It's just weird to me. A small nerf to Iron Valiant spell seems warranted. I've seen Iron Valiant do some crazy stuff in Psychic. It was really strong. Another buff to Veluza. Let's go. Maybe finally he'll be playable. So instead of sacrificing 50% of its max HP, now it's down to 30%. I think this is still going to be not enough, personally. Because its base HP for a unique, like especially a melee unique, is not that great, right? I mean, it's not horrible. But you can see that Armor Rouge's ranged and has more base base max HP. You know, these guys, they have the same as him, but they have Fossil, so they essentially like double it. Who else we got? Somebody like Turtonator, right? Frontline Turtonator, 200. So not only does he have more max HP, but he has 24 base defense. That's enormous, and 10 base def, really great. Compared to Veluza, which has 5 and 4, so he's gonna get destroyed instantly. It also has 45 speed, which is really slow. Again, Turtonator at 37, which is only a little lower, but 37, Turtonator is like a design tank, so like it's tough. So this seems really bad. Although, sacrificing 30 HP of current makes 30% of current max HP to flee away, gain 10 attack, 20 speed, and protect for a very short time. Still not gonna cut it in my opinion. But we're getting there. Maybe it's going to be better. His dish is also still, like, really, really bad. Like, why would you want to do this? 5 attack and 10 ability power is not even that much to gain. And losing max HP for it, I don't know, that's tough. Okay, but we'll see how we perform. Buff pipeline attack, that's nice. As you can see, like, Empoleon was not cutting it. Buff Waterfall, more shield for Seeking, sure. Buff Horsey's base attack, this seems... but mostly at the later stages, right? I mean, Kingdra getting, like, 3 attack buffs, sure, that's nice. Drampa getting a PP buff seems nice. Drampa was kind of underwhelming. Dialga and Palkia getting buffs now, that's a surprise to me. I think Dialga was just fine. It's not the best, but it's okay. But Palkia, I think for one, was actually kind of broken. It looks like if it was buffed, that means that like statistics were disagreeing with me, right? But being able to shuffle the whole enemy team, and like basically like defeat his whole like positioning, you know, is a really strong spell. So for me, 120 PP was definitely warranted, especially with how easily you can like, how well it scales with AP and it deals a shit ton of damage as well as like shuffling the team. I don't know. Drowsy got a really good buff. I'm gonna show it actually on screen for this one. Drowsy and Hypno, they were some of my favorite units, mostly because they are ranged monsters, which I think is really cool. There's not a lot of them in the game. The only other one is Carnivine, right? And so Dream Eater, what he used to do is jump next to an enemy suffering from sleep, dealing damage, and heal for the same amount of HP. So same as now, but it also did, like, if no enemy Pokemon suffers from sleep, put the target to sleep instead. Alright, so that's the same as before, but now, if you put something to sleep, you recast Dream Eater immediately. So this is going to be really good, I think. Hypno was definitely like a really slow unit that, you know, wouldn't really benefit from his spell really well. Now, with this fix, I think he could actually be a scary carry. A really scary carry. So we'll have to try that out. We'll have to try out Hypno carry. Maybe 5 light Hypno could be really cool. Putting everything to sleep and then eating everything's HP. I think that's going to be really interesting. Actually, yeah, I'll do that. 5 light Hypno, you've heard it here first. I'll do that. Alright, getting a little hot, sorry. So what's next? Alright, what's next? Nerf to the Chimchar line, to mostly just to Monferno and Chimchar base defense. Sure, they were pretty strong. Huge nerf to Kakuna's speed. It's like a nerf of 14 speed. This is huge. I don't know if this was warranted. Kakuna was really good in the early game, but it didn't seem broken to me. I don't know. Slack off the line changes. These are very interesting. I want to talk about them in the unit builder again. So, Slackos was always kind of a lacking unit for a 4-star epic. Not really something you want to see, because all he does is, you know, kind of have like good base tank stats and then heal himself and then go to sleep. So kind of same as Pidove actually. So obviously this isn't really great, especially like when you compare it to other epic field units like Rapidash, which one-shots your whole team for 60 AP, yeah, for 60 mana. You know, it's hard to compare. Now they made a change. Vigoroth cannot sleep anymore, so he actually just heals. Very interesting. All right, and makes sense with like Vigoroth in games, you know, it's like he's a sleepy guy, then he becomes a really hyper guy, and then becomes a sleepy guy again. And now, slacking the reward you get for getting a 3-star epic. First, absolutely huge HP and base stats, but you already had these. When waking up after sleep, gains enraged for 3 seconds. Do you know how fucking cool that is? Like, I want to make a slacking video as well. Gonna add that to my list. We gotta try that, right? We really gotta try that. Okay, moving on. Alright, unknowns can no longer eat gourmet dishes, who cares? Change the Sight Shield Bash. Change the Igglybuff from normal Sound Baby to normal Fairy Baby. Sure. I don't know what this really changes. Change the Prismatic Laser. This is really huge. Alright, Necrozma. I want to talk about this one as well a little bit. I mean, it's not that big, but basically Necrozma, what it does is it shoots this big laser, and it used to shoot always this big laser straight ahead of it. And now it will actually shoot the laser, focusing around the target. And that is such a huge change. I think this is going to be really strong now, right? They did nerf the damage a little bit from 80 to 60. But, a 3-tile wide prismatic laser, around the enemy, that is going to be, like, really crazy. Oh, they forgot to change the tooltip, it seems like. But yeah, especially for, like, Light Psychic, like, that's going to be insane. That is going to be insane. So, we have to try that as well. That's a new thing we have to try. Alright. A little nerfed score PHP, sure, it was a really good unit. Nerfing Galar Mortis Fiery Wrath by a whole 3 damage. Not a lot, but there were a lot of other nerfs. Like, it's a compound nerf. You're gonna see later there were nerfs to Dark and some crit items, so it seems fine. Buffing Obstruct to 2 seconds instead of 3 seconds, but less PP, sure. Scorpion line now, one of the hatches, is a ranged unit instead of melee unit. I think that's going to be really interesting. His spell is really strong, right? If I go right now to Cinderace, it fires out a Pyro Ball that deals 40 damage in a line and applies burn for 50 PP, so really not a lot. So this is going to be interesting as like a ranged caster instead of a sort of like a weird unit that doesn't know what it wants to do, Going to definitely become one of the better hatches, I think. Yanma nerf, definitely warranted. From +2 to +1 speed per second, this should make Yanma finally much less of a, like, the GOAT that it was. Like, sometimes you just play Fossil, and then even when you had your Legendary, Yanmega was still your best carry. Like, it was insane how good this unit was. So, definitely a warranted nerf. Also nerfing Charcaday. Now, instead of getting it on the T10, like getting either, Armor Rouge or Ceruledge, you will have to wait till stage 15 to gain the armor, depending on your highest synergy between Psychic and Ghost. So you'll have to plan for it, everything. That's good. Seems like a really good nerf to Armor Rouge, because Armor Rouge was like kind of a really problem unit last patch, and now you'll get it much later, which means you'll just take more damage. And it was also nerfed. They basically made it so that the number of secondary targets no longer scales with AP, which I think was so much warranted. Thank you, Curry. Thank you, Keldon, for this change. All right, this unit for a T10 would just blast your whole team in one hit and like hit everything at once. It was really strong. So now, it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. Adjustment to base stats of Trapinch line, a little bit of a buff on the later stages, and a little bit of nerf on the earlier stages. Makes sense. Tropius Gourmet Edition now gives 3 berries instead of 1. Maybe this means that Tropius will finally be a viable Pokemon. Again, like ever since Gourmet was added, Tropius just gives 1 berry per round, which is really not that great. Now 3 berries, that's a lot. Especially if you want to play it with like Snorlax or something, seems really interesting. Vanillite line, they finally made it so that the freeze duration would no longer scales with AP, although the base freeze duration is now 3 seconds, which is kind of a lot. So we're going to have to see how it goes. And the base attack was also buffed at all stages. Nega Sableye is getting a little bit of a base stats nerf. Going to take one small break. We're going to edit that out as well. Whew. Need to take a breather. Bidoof, now no longer wild unit instead of normal additional. I think it's going to make that's going to make him worthless, but Bidoof is not really a really good unit, in and of itself. Its spell is not really especially interesting. Its base stats are nothing crazy, and, mostly its biggest interest was triggering the normal shield in a wild team. So, Gliscor getting a huge nerf, and I'm not so sure about this one. Instead of poison heal, like its passive, giving you full heal for all poison damage he takes, and now he only heals for the first stack of poison, which is is a gigantic nerf to a unit I think is already kind of middling. I understand why this nerf was made. It's for like poison players, you know, if someone picks Gliscor, now you can actually beat them reasonably without having like some fucking insane shit, right? I guess that makes sense, but I wish we would have seen a base stats, buff, because if you check out Gliscor, which is something that, by the way, you have to spend a whole item to get Gliscor. You have to get a Razor Fang, which is not really a good item either in poison, flying, or ground, right? 170 HP, that's so low. Compare it to Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl gets 200, and Aerodactyl gets a revive from Fossil, and Aerodactyl gets like defense boost from Rock. Compare it to Regirock, much lower base defenses, much lower HP. Registeel, Regice, Registeel, same stuff. Compare it to Skarmory, similar HP, much lower defenses, you know, and like you have to spend a whole item to make these guys. These other guys, you just pick them and you get them. You have to understand that. Like, Gliscor, I think, was really broken a long time ago because, because the game was different and his spell was bugged and you would, like, put him in the back lane like Honage, you know? So it was, like, really strong. Now it's no longer like this. So I don't know. I think this guy is much, like, long overdue for a stats buff. Maybe bring his HP up to 200, maybe even 220, I think. But yeah, we'll see next patches. For now, I think, by the way, I'm sorry, Ground fans, but, like, Ground isn't real. I didn't talk about it lately, but Ground was in a really bad spot last patch because CRITCAST being everywhere, which means you don't have time to scale. And with the Gliscor nerf, that's also another hit to ground. So now the only good ground unique is, like, Torkoal. So it's going to be a little bit tough. We'll see. Natureline is now rare. Okay, a few like rarity changes. Goldengo getting a little bit of a base stats nerf. Good. Goldengo was really strong. Pecharunt getting updated to Malignant Chain, which now inflicts the new possessed status instead of locked. This is going to make Pecharunt really good, I think, especially in poison. Retaliate, which is Lillipup spell, was buffed. That's good. The whole Stoutland line was like really weak, right? Some changes to unknown distribution. Don't really care. A small nerf to Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini was really good. Small nerf to Plusle and Minun. That's really good. Plusle and Minun was really like super good uniques. They're getting a base speed nerf, and now once they're alone, their spell will only deal half the damage. I think that's really good, and that means that if you want to get good results, you actually have to invest items on both of them, which is going to cost a lot of items, so it's more risky, you know? So it makes sense. Roaring Moon getting a damage nerf also makes sense. Psycho Cut, Gallade getting boosted. Didn't have the opportunity to play him yet. That's still something we have to try, right? So, but, I think it's warranted that this should be really strong given how hard it is to get it. Alright, and all these other changes, not a lot of them are really interesting, except Capsicid is getting a small nerf of 100 PP to 110 PP for its spell. It seems like a really small nerf, but you're going to see there's more nerfs later. It's just not directly to the Pokemon. Something interesting. Clefairy line is like famous for using random spells, which can lead to really interesting results. Some people have actually played like 5-light Clefable carry, and I think it's really funny. And now, if you have more luck, you have more chances to pull out a strong ability, which I think is going to be really interesting. So maybe Lucky Egg Clefable is going to be like a really cool build. We have to try that. I'm excited to try that. Okay. Alright, change the Suction Heal to Electros, doesn't really matter. Now you can actually get double synergies with Kecleon and Arceus if they have the Dragon type, which is going to open up so much new stuff, but it's like such a complex change that I don't even feel like talking about it right now. We'll talk about it when I make a video on it, maybe. All these other changes are not really that interesting. Alright, changes to synergies. Now this is kind of huge. Boom! Dark getting a huge nerf right away. Dark 5 and 7 are getting a crit power nerf, which I think is really good. Like, tone down the whole, damage of crit casters. That's really good. Aquatic 8 is in, but I already talked about this when talking about Surfing Pikachu. This is going to be really cool. Really want to try that. Fossil, now, instead of getting a revive, gets the whole HP back in shield. I think this might be kind of a hidden buff. This means that Fossil is now weak to the flinch status, but it also means that if you put something like a green orb on a Fossil unit, right, it's going to be really good because before you would just go back to full HP, so when you're full HP the green orb is doing nothing, but now you're just getting a bunch of shield on top of your health. So while the shield is getting depleted, the green orb can actually heal your HP, like, in there. So you can actually get like maybe 3 life bars instead of 2 life bars if you build some green orbs. So it's going to be really interesting. Alright, changes to items. We have a few more changes here. 2 new artificial items are being introduced that give the monster and aquatic synergy. This are gonna open up some more, spicy comps. But the biggest thing, Punching Glove, the king of 80 items, is finally getting nerfed. And it's a pretty huge nerf. Basically, Punching Glove, what it does is it deals additional physical damage equal to a percentage of the enemy's max health. That, up to last patch, used to stack with effects like Fairy, Steel, and Crits, where, like, for example, Fairy increases your, like, auto attacks damage by, with special damage, that's like a percent damage of the physical damage you're doing, and that used to trigger off of Punching Glove, so you basically get, like, double Punching Glove of Fairy units, same for Steel, everything. Now it applies separately. There's no more double dipping. So this is going to be really, like, nerfing it really hard. Scope Lens is also getting a huge nerf, thank God. From 15 stolen PP to 10 stolen PP, and it also cannot oversteal PP. So, like, if the enemy you're hitting has no PP, you're not actually getting any PP. I think this is going to make the item much, much more reasonable than it was before. Power Lens now can reflect Fairy, like, auto attack damage. That's also, like, a big nerf to Fairy, which was really strong before the crit meta started, so that makes sense. Lucky Egg is getting some huge nerfs to base stats, also makes sense. Curry, which is Capsicum's dish, is getting a nerf from 5 to 4 seconds of rage. I think that's a pretty huge nerf. Like, the curry was the best dish. It made entire comps really broken. Now, with a 4-second duration, it's possible that your crit caster that you're putting, like, your curry on might not even have time to regenerate enough PP to cast by the time that the rage runs out. So we're going to have to see. Especially with Scope Lens being, like, mana nerfed, I think this is going to make, like, Scovlane, CRITCAST comps much, 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 much more reasonable. Thank you. Thank you so much for these nerfs. I am eternally in your debt. Alright, and then we got a bunch of buffs to gourmet dishes. Again, gourmet proving to not be strong enough to justify a lot of these, except curry, right? So that's going to be, maybe make the gourmet teams more diverse now. Alright, and what else do we got? Nerf to Comet Shard, less protect duration. Buff to Golden Bow, which used to give 0 stat, now it gives shield, a little bit of shield. Buff to Absorb Bulb, I think Absorb Bulb was already pretty good, but yes, a bunch of changes to some shiny items. Alright, that's going to be it for the changes to this patch, I think. Oh, Rage, the Rage status was also nerfed overall, very important. From 100 to 80 speed, and yeah, that's a pretty good nerf on top of everything else. So, seems like everything that felt really broken was addressed, right? And I'm happy. I'm honestly really happy with this patch. There's a lot of new stuff to try out. Lots and lots of it. And everything that seemed problematic from last patch has been nerfed. So, thank you, Curry and Kilden, for an amazing patch. You guys are the GOAT, right? And yeah, I'm going to leave you with the gameplay footage of my last game from last patch. See ya! Alright, some bonus footage for everyone. Well, bonus footage. This might actually be in a whole nother game, but CRITCAST Mantine. Why not? Let's see how it does. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. Get some more water in there. Let's do this. The principle is the same. CRITCAST items, but this time on another AoE unit, Mentike. And you know what? The chance to fish Remoraid is actually based on luck, so giving it the Lucky Egg is going to make me get Remoraid faster. So yeah, there you have it. New concept. New CRITCAST abuser has just dropped. Just how many units can be made broken with this? Honestly, it's getting kind of funny now. Before I was complaining and stuff, but hey, if that's how the game is, that's how the game is, I could put in Baby, but I don't even think I'm going to lose, because even though it's just Mentike, like, the damage when it does cast is so fucking huge that... Let's look at it. Yeah, see? Just... Boom! 300 damage, 1 cast. This is not even Mantine. This is Mentike. That's so huge. Like, what? Cast again. Boom, boom. Okay. Didn't win this one, but still, respectable damage for what is supposed to be like a baby unit that can't even do anything on its own. And as soon as we fished that Remoraid, baby, we're home free. Just need one last shade to complete the item, but honestly, since we're playing water, mana is actually not that much of a problem. So if we just give it, like, anything else instead, it'll be fine. There's one shade, it's here. We are the second to pick, so we might get it. Nope. Looks like this guy was on it. Alright. We would like this. Another Shiny Charm is pretty good, I think. We have the reroll tickets, so we have more chances to try and get a shade later. Just gonna level up. Try to hit maybe water 6 would be pretty good here. Gonna roll a little bit, try to hit some water units. Here are some. Let's see what we can do. What do we fish? Boom, we did get the Remoraid. Boom, we get Mantine. That's actually huge. Can sell these now. We can do this and this. That's 5 water. We could honestly just add in Remoraid. But here's a Totodile instead. We're gonna sell this. And we can give a Shiny Charm to a unit I'm sure I'll sell later. Like this guy. And there you go. My Mantine is just about ready. Honestly, no. We do need the crit just to like increase the chance of the spell critting. Yeah, okay. Pretty good. Pretty good so far. Alright, facing a ghost team now. Boom, boom, boom. Where did the damage go? This unit's damage is like kind of weird. I guess it didn't crit or something. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's a little bit weird sometimes. I don't know. But still, respectable. 683, that's damn respectable. Alright, another Remoraid. Maybe we're gonna get Octillery or something. I mean, you know, Octillery's not the best, but it's better than what we have right now. Let's just roll for more upgrades. We get another Ditto. Maybe I should use the Ditto on Octillery. Nah, we're gonna wait for some real late game water stuff, I think. I shouldn't be rolling, by the way. Actually, yeah, I really shouldn't be rolling. And you know what? I will make Octillery. It is better. I mean, 26 attack, that's a lot, you know? It has really low speed, though. Damn, didn't notice that. Here's an Armarouge board, but they don't have the CRITCAST item, so I don't think it's going to be that good. Might still beat us, though, because we're like... No, okay. It was kind of close, but we do win this one. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have rolled and used the Ditto, because actually I want to go to Water 9. That's like the whole point of playing Water, so... But my team is like only unevolved units, so I don't know. If I had the Scope Lens, I think Mantine would be able to carry on its own by now, but it's a little bit tough. Okay, we get Prinplup, that's something, a little bit of an upgrade. We get an Azrael, that's one more water unit that we can try to put in. Alright, so I'm gonna wait to see what components I get on the Mewtwo round here. Right? And if I get Shades, really good. If I don't, maybe I'll use the reroll ticket or something and pray to hit a Shades. I don't know, we'll see. I'm probably making another Shiny Charm, I think. You want to... I mean, everything is so bursty nowadays, so... Yeah, you probably want that. Yeah. It sounds like a good idea. But anyways, okay, we get... Why am I so stupid? Magnet. We get Magnet, right? We get Magnet, and, yeah, that's probably going to be the item I reroll, because Magnet has practically no use when playing Water. No Shades. Alright. We get... I think I'll take a Scale. And we can reroll the... Give me Shades. Another Seed. That's not so bad. We can make a Shiny Charm here. Gonna give it to... Prinplup, because we're also probably selling it later, so it's good to have it in there. And yeah, we're just gonna be hanging out. We can still give it, like, something like, you know... Stardust might be pretty good for the defensive values, everything. Right now, I'm just going to try to speedrun to Water 9 now, which is probably what you should be doing when playing Water, and not re-rolling like a dumbass like I did earlier. Lost a bunch of gold on that. That was honestly like a very, very bad decision by me. Ooh, a strong-looking artificial team with some early levels, it looks like. Mantine's still able to do some nice damage. I'm wondering if Mantine's spell isn't maybe bugged compared to Mentike's. Because it looks like it's not actually dealing AoE, but just like dealing the one bounce. You know? Am I crazy? Still, we get really, really great damage here. Another Remoraid, but we don't care. So, wait, Remoraid's worth 3 gold? Oh, so this lucky egg is gonna make me a gold farm. Okay. I see the vision, I see the vision. I see my own vision, which I did not on purpose, but that's really good then. Okay. There is some additional synergy here that I did not anticipate. So for our last items, we can make another lucky egg. We can make Soldew. We can make Stardust. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we can... There still is gonna be like okay. Boom. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's all that... Like there's that much AoE. I don't know. It's like a bit weird. An Empoleon team. Very interesting. I think we're gonna lose here. Okay. What is he even playing? This is weird. This is really weird. I guess like ice or something? No shades again. Wow, that is unfortunate for us. We can get an Aqua Egg, actually, is going to be really great. And we can make a Max Revive or something. Maybe I should wait for my last item, because if my last item is Shades, I'll be mad that I didn't wait to make the thing, right? I guess we'll see. Another 3 gold. Let's fucking go. Okay, with this pulling us up, maybe we will be able to make it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it doesn't really matter what order I put them in. It's not like my backline is really worth protecting right now. Like, Mantine's just doing most of the work. But yeah, maybe Aqua Egg is fine. Aqua Egg is generally, like, a really good item in water. And, you know, this is still pretty good chances to crit, I would say, with the luck and just the Reaper Cloth. I'll slam it. I'll slam it. I don't think I'll regret that. Oh, here's someone who hit the perfect items on a Brionne as well. Brionne is so good. But look, my Mantine's going crazy now with the Aqua Egg. Boom, 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 boom. And just barely we're able to win everything before it dies. Insane damage. Insane damage. Finally a good Mantine carry video. You know, a long time ago when Mantine came out, I tried to make a Mantine carry video, gave it Dawnstone and everything. And, yo, more gold, let's go. And it didn't quite work out. But now, with this, might be the best, might be the GOAT. One thing to note is that Mantine is likely to take some damage while diving in, but I don't know, with the armor for Lucky Egg and it's not a really high special defense and HP, I think it's actually pretty safe from harm's way, you know? I don't know. At least for now, it's working good. It's working okay. Artillery is still so underwhelming, by the way. For, like, how annoying it is to get it, its stats aren't, like, that great. I think. I don't know. Doom, doom, doom. Cast. Cast again. Doom, doom, doom. Cast again. Boom, boom, boom. Cast again. Boom, 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 boom. Cast again. Cast again. Come on. Boom, 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 boom. Cast again. Boom, 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 boom. Cast again. Boom, 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 boom. Wow, that's actually crazy. Am I crazy, or do all units have a base dodge chance? I'm pretty sure Mantine was, like, dodging attacks there, even though it's not a ghost. So that's, like, that's pretty crazy, actually. Anyways, so we're close to level 8 right there. Just gonna get it automatically at the end of this round. And then we'll just have to slam all our XP to level 9, and I think we'll be fine. With Water 9 hit, we'll just have, like, insane amounts of casts. Maybe I should roll, though. Because, yeah, it's true, we don't have anything upgraded or any high-level units at all. Hopefully we get a good legendary, something like Palkia, I'm hoping. Palkia would be the best choice, definitely, because I can, like, use the Shiny Charm on Palkia and it would be really good. And also Palkia is just broken in general, so yeah, I'd be happy to get that. Anyways, at least when hitting Water 8, we're going to be able to trigger Rain, which is going to help us a lot. So we get an interesting choice of items. I think... Oh, only 2 water portals. Well, I mean, yeah. Only have water 7 in, so it's gonna be tough. Hopefully we get to pick one of these. Okay, we do. Nice, very nice. Let's see which one we get. Come on. Something good, something good, something good, something good. You gotta give me something good. Ooh, Suicune, not so good. Arceus, also not so good. I don't know. Both of these are not so good. So I don't know what I should do, really. I think it's fine. Right, I think it's fine. Suicune's not that bad. It's melee, so it does well with Shiny Charm. At least I didn't get something that's, like, not melee. I think it wants... Maybe Lucky Egg is good on it as well. Like, it gives a decent amount of raw AD and stuff. And we can make a King's Rock. And I'm actually going to give that to another unit and maybe wait a little bit on that. Okay, here's the Oshawott. See, that can be a good holder for King's Rock. I'm gonna need to roll and hit, like, some upgraded units a little bit. Not that this is the best, because it's just a Wartortle, but yeah. Like, just get a few better units. Here's Seadra. And... yeah, I mean, that's not bad, right? Why do I have Wild 2 in? Am I stupid? I might be. Okay, we play against Ghost and get ghosted. Woohoo, so cool. Ghost players. Wow. Ha ha ha. funny. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, yeah, you either play CRITCAST or you play Ghost. That's the meta right now. And this guy went with the Ghost side, and you know, it seems to be working really well for him, so I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of mad. Ghost players, man, I hate you. So why do I have Wild? Oh, Suicune is Wild. I tend to forget that sometimes. We have to roll, kinda, because we're in a really dire spot right here. And this is harming my chances to go to level 8, but at the same time, dying will also harm my chances to level 8, so I don't know. Come on, can I hit something? Okay, here's D-Watt, that's pretty good. And we can add in this guy to not have a fucking Ditto on my field. So here's the strange Armarouge board. Still gonna be pretty good, I think. Are we gonna win? I don't... Oh, wait. Suicune was the last heroic cast, and boom, Octillery finishes it. Whew! Am I glad we got rid of that guy right now, because he looked pretty strong. That looked like it was going to be pretty strong later, so thank God we beat that guy. Another guy drops out of the game. The guy was the weird ice team. Okay. Now, what do I want? What do I want? Maybe this is good for my Suicune. Well, last round the Suicune didn't even get the cast, so I don't know how good that really is. But it can do massive AoE casts with this as well. Alright, yeah, I think... Who do I have in right now? This guy or this guy? Oh, neither of them. Okay, here's another Remoraid for more money. That's pretty good. So, let's pray. Let's pray that Suicune actually gets to cast this round, you know? If it does, I think we'll be pretty okay. Can we level up on next round? No, I think we'll have to wait till Zapdos. So we have to win at least one of these. I mean, we have to win... No, actually, it's fine. We can lose. We won't take 20 in one hit, I think, right? The Ghost guy is really annoying. But I feel like with Shiny Charm on my Legendary, now it has 3 items, it's going to draw the Ghost Curse on it, and then the Mantine is going to be able to basically kill everything in the Ghost team. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if we can beat the RD team for now. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And boom, look at that, just like that. Wait, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. Boom. Dude, the cast always misses, that's crazy. It's actually dashed onto the target and missed there, which is pretty crazy. But, we managed. Octillery, you know what? I criticized you, Octillery, but you seem to be doing okay. No items, doing this much damage. Honestly, and giving me the splash with Suicune. Honestly, I complained for nothing. I have to admit it. I was a little bit... Wait, that's that... Oh, okay. So, can I do it? Can I count? I can't count, so I'm just gonna slam it all. That's fine. I will just be selling... Do I have fighting? I do have fighting. I will be selling you. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Field, wild, aquatic, fighting. Hey! Pretty good. Okay. Let's see how we do in this one. So that's the very crazy fairy team that I was super afraid about. Yeah, it seems like he hit his late game crazy shit. Yeah, we're gonna get destroyed here. Holy shit. Okay, we don't die. I think we can win against this with a better positioning. But once again, the problem unit Primarina is in, and it's gonna be tough to defeat. Let's see, this guy, the dragon guy, is also gonna lose to this board, so I think he gets knocked out here. Right? So we at least make top 4. Oh, 1 HP? Are you serious? Okay, seems like it might be tougher than I anticipated. Ooh, holy shit. But CRITCAST Water, you know, a new take on the CRITCAST meta right now, right? CRITCAST Water seems really interesting. Here's what I'm going to do next round. I'm just going to do it like this, I think. I want my Suicune to not take focus right away, right? It needs some time to be able to just, like, cast and kill everybody. I think if I do it like this, then it's fine. I think I need some better units, but right now I can't really afford them. Do I even want to sell Totodile? Because the move might really be to slam the Ditto and make Crocono, which is really sad, but I've run out of money, so the chance I hit something good is a little... It's not a lot, you know? So what do we get? Okay, interesting. None of these are really useful, I'd say. We can get a Stardust on this guy. Gonna give him additional shielding. Alright, let's roll. Try to hit good units. Here's a good unit. That's a really good unit. If we can hit another of these... Ooh, okay. Another Ditto. So maybe... Oh, Sobble. Okay. Wait. Let me think. Do I want this guy gone? Or yes, I want this guy gone. Buy Sobble. Make this guy. Make Drizzle. And then put this guy over there. We lose some stuff, but it's pretty good. Okay, here's the Dragon team. Let's see if we can be okay. He has a Power Lance, so he has really good items against me, honestly. Oh, I think we're gonna lose because of the Power Lance. Plus, Dialga gives res to himself, so he's just gonna, like, not even die there, and then... Oh no, come on, the fucking Power Lance! Ah, are you serious? Ah, no, that was so close. I feel like that could have been so good, but yeah, Power Lance is a good counter to something like this. God damn it, man. Maybe if I put Drizzle in the end instead of Wartortle, it would have lived longer and finished the Dialga off at the end. I don't know. Maybe if I gave the items to Drizzle, but you know, it's not like I could sell my Legendary. Okay, really surprised actually. I thought this would be really strong. But I guess in the end we were lacking just like good water units, right? Like it was kind of tough. I don't know. I feel like we're really unlucky though, because if that guy lost, like he survived by 1 HP. I'm pretty confident we could have beaten the Ghost guy at the end, because with the Shiny Charm we kind of countered him there. Because Shiny Charm will prevent like Ghost units from killing your unit one time, so you get to stop the curse once. And with all the units I had, like I feel like I could have bursted its team down very easily. Captain Bowie also drops. We would have also beaten this artificial board, by the way. I think the only guy we would have lost to is the fairy guy. So it's really unfortunate, actually. Sometimes it really just comes down to chance like this, you know? 1 HP. 1 HP on this guy, man. That's actually crazy. Ah, unfortunate.